What? Yawns freeze your brain? Sort of, but perhaps not in the way you think. There's no ice involved, but some scientists believe yawning makes your brain cooler. This helps keep it at its optimum functional temperature. Heat is released as we yawn, and studies show people yawn more in summer. However, there's no actual scientific consensus on yawning. A more popular theory than the brain-cooling suggestion, and the only one that takes into account the fact that we yawn most when we are sleepy, is that yawning helps keep us awake when we would otherwise have nodded off during boring or passive activities. It stimulates the carotid artery in the neck, increases both heart rate and blood flow to the brain, and releases hormones that keep us awake. It also dampens our eyes, which stimulates us to wipe them. Because we rarely yawn when on the move, this suggests yawning is only necessary when we're passive. However, other researchers have noted that we will yawn before undertaking strenuous exercise or before an exam, when blood flow to the brain is equally desirable. Lastly, yawning helps reduce pressure and blockages in the eustachian tubes in our ears, but this might just be an unintended consequence, because swallowing is a more effective means of doing this. Why is yawning contagious? There seems to be more agreement on this. In primitive societies, where it made sense for most people in groups to sleep at the same time and disturbances were kept to a minimum, yawning indicates that sleep time is approaching. This is backed up by the fact that we yawn if we see a family member or friend do it, but more rarely if we see a stranger yawn. The empathy of yawning draws social groups closer together and synchronizes the collective mood. Other animals yawn too, but contagious yawns are only found in more social animals, such as chimpanzees and lions, which gives weight to the empathy-synchronizing theory. Even more interesting is that some animals, including dogs and elephants, are prone to catching yawns from humans. Chimpanzees will even yawn when they see a robot yawning. We're still figuring out why. The wonderfully named Sprague-Dawley rat yawns about 20 times an hour, as opposed to only about twice an hour in other rat species. Studies show that the rat's facial temperature falls every time it yawns, allowing it to cool its body in hot weather.